Okay, we've got a good crew in here. I will go ahead and introduce us and then pass it off to our presenter to get started. Thank you so much to everybody who's here today. This is our second homeowner education webinar. It's a series we're really excited about, and we're excited to, bring in different people who have lots of wisdom and resources to offer. So if you're here today, thank you. I mentioned it just a moment ago, but we will be recording this session. So just to know, if you have any friends or family that you think this information could be useful, we will post that recording on our website so that you can share it with anybody that you want to. But otherwise, we'll get moving. My name's Randy. I'm with Rebuilding Together Metro Chicago. If you're on this call, it's probably because you already know who we are or you've worked with us before. But maybe not. Maybe you're new to us. We are a nonprofit that does no-cost home repairs to homeowners in Chicago and Cook County, focusing on repairs that help make your homes warm, safe, and dry. And today we are really excited to host Legal Aid Chicago. They're a group that also works in Chicago and Cook County and does a lot of great services that they're going to tell you about. A few logistical things. If you're calling in from your phone number, I'll ask that you stay muted throughout the call, and then we will have a time at the end to ask questions. When we get to that point, I can tell you how to unmute. It's going to be *6 on your keypad. But yeah, otherwise, we'll have time at the end to ask some questions that you might have. But other than that, we will jump right in, and I'll pass it off to Barbara. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much, Randy. Hi, everyone. My name is Barbara Bertini. I'm the Associate Director of Community Partnerships here at Legal Aid Chicago. And I have my colleague Molly with me. Molly is one of the attorneys who works with us. And I'm excited to be able to tell you all about what we do. So for those of you on the phone, you probably cannot see because you're calling in. I do have a PowerPoint going. So as Randy mentioned, this is going to be recorded. So I definitely recommend checking out the presentation when you have the opportunity when that is shared with everyone. So we will go ahead and get started. Like Randy mentioned, we will have time for questions at the end. So any questions you ask, I cannot give you legal advice, but I can give you legal information and tell you stuff about Legal Aid Chicago. So to start off, Legal Aid Chicago is a private nonprofit. We've been around in the Chicagoland area for over 50 years. And since we were created, we have provided free civil legal services to people living in Cook County who have limited income. And part of our mission is that we seek justice for people living in poverty. So in short, we are a free law firm. So our name is Legal Aid Chicago, and you may have heard that term legal aid, but you may not know what it actually means. So legal aid is just a general term for free legal advice or help for folks who cannot afford an attorney. It's in our name because it is what we do. There are other legal aid organizations in Chicago and in Cook County, and that just means that they also do legal aid. We're not actually associated with any of them. We often partner with them, but we are our own independent organization. So I mentioned that we provide free civil legal services, but what does it actually mean? So when it comes to the law, there are two major types of cases: criminal legal cases and civil legal cases. In criminal cases, the government accuses someone of breaking the law, and the government takes that person to court. In those cases, you're guaranteed an attorney. That's one of the amendments, is that you have the right to an attorney, and that's where the public defender's office comes in. Civil legal cases are different because a person or a group takes another person or group to court. And in those cases, you are not guaranteed a lawyer. So if you're getting a divorce, you're taking your spouse to court. You're not guaranteed a lawyer. If you're getting evicted, your landlord is taking you to court. There's not a guarantee to an attorney. And that is where Legal Aid Chicago steps in. We can work with those civil cases where a person or group is taking another person or group to court. And we actually cannot do criminal cases. So if you have a criminal case pending, we recommend that you call the public defender's office, because unfortunately we are prohibited from doing those cases. But for civil cases, we can help. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Molly, for letting me know I failed to properly share my screen. Thanks so much, Molly. a huge help. All right. All right. Is it up now, Molly? Can you see? Thank you. All right. So I'll just flip back through the few slides that I've gone through. So here's about Legal Aid Chicago. We've been around for 50 years, providing free civil legal services. Legal aid is free legal advice or help for those who can't afford attorneys. And this is the slide that shows the difference between criminal and civil cases. So now we are caught up. Thank you so much, team, for letting me know. Sorry, folks, I have not had enough caffeine today. All right. So there are lots of types of civil legal cases, and these are the areas that we can help with. We have 7 main areas of law in which we can provide assistance, and I'll go through each of them, but just to let you know what's coming, we do housing, children and families, immigrant and workers' rights, consumer law, public benefits law, criminal records relief, and long-term care. So I'm going to take you through those details right now, starting with housing. So our housing team helps to protect vulnerable tenants and homeowners. So we can help low-income tenants who are facing eviction from subsidized housing or denial or loss of a housing voucher. We know how hard those vouchers are to get and how important they are. So once you have it, we want you to keep it. Or if you're denied a voucher, but you should qualify for it, we want you to get that voucher. So that is for subsidized and housing vouchers. We do housing discrimination cases, and this is for public housing, private housing, market rate, subsidized. So if you are denied an apartment because you are a woman or because of the color of your skin or because of your family status, those are all things that are protected by the law, and we can help pursue a case in those matters. And then as we have the capacity and the space, we can help with some other tenants' rights issues, but our big focuses are on discrimination and subsidized housing and vouchers. So that's for tenants. And then for homeowners, we can help with loan modification issues. If you're a victim of home repair fraud, we can help you get that sorted. And if you're facing the loss of your home through either a foreclosure or a tax sale, we can help you navigate that process, try to work out a different solution, and try to get you to keep your home. So that's our housing team. They're very busy and they do fabulous work. Our children and families practice focuses on personal safety and access to education. So for our family law cases, we can do cases surrounding protective orders. So that's orders of protection, restraining orders, no contact orders, no stalking orders, anything that falls within that area. And we can do custody, guardianship, and divorce in situations where there is domestic abuse. At this time, we do not do general divorce. So if you just get really bored with your husband or your wife and you're like, I want to find a new one, I want to divorce them, we cannot help you with that at this time. However, if there is domestic abuse, and it doesn't have to be physical, it can be financial abuse, it can be emotional abuse, those are situations in which we can step in and assist. And we can also assist you if you are a parent or caregiver and DCFS has started an investigation against you. We want to make sure that people don't have indications on their record if they are not required. So we will actually represent the person who is being investigated by DCFS. And for access to education, we can help with Title IX cases. What is Title IX? That's a big word. You may have heard it in terms of college sports. But for our purposes, the part of the Title IX that we focus on is sexual harassment, sexual abuse, or sex or gender discrimination that happens at school. So this can be elementary school, middle school, high school, college. If there is sexual harassment or abuse based on your sex or gender, we can assist. We do special education cases, so that's IEPs and 504s. And we also do school discipline cases. So this to me is a really interesting area of law because if a student is expelled in Illinois, they can actually be kept out of school for up to 2 years. We know how vital learning is to success in life, so we want to make sure that kids stay in school. And if someone is facing expulsion, they have the right to an attorney in that hearing. So we can represent students in expulsion hearings if they've been suspended repeatedly, or if they're facing school pushout. Those are areas we can help with. Our next practice group is our immigrant and workers' rights team. And this is broken up into 4 major areas that I'm going to go through now. So the first one is employment law. We can help with employment cases that involve unemployment insurance benefits. That's just the full name of saying your unemployment check. So if you were denied unemployment and you weren't supposed to be, or if your unemployment was miscalculated, we can assist. We do wage claims, which means wage theft, overtime complaints, unpaid wages. If you have a boss that won't give you your paycheck until you do XYZ, or if your boss is stealing all of your tips, those are wage claim issues, and we do those cases. Just like we do housing discrimination, we also do employment discrimination. So if you are fired or not given a job because of your sex, gender, race, your color, your religion, a myriad of options, if you are discriminated against, we can assist you. And similarly, we do wrongful termination cases. So if I came to work and I said, guess what, boss, I'm pregnant and my boss fires me because I got pregnant, that is a wrongful termination. I'm actually protected. So that would be both discrimination and wrongful termination. And those are types of cases that we do. So that's our employment team. And next we have our immigration team. We are not a general immigration firm. So if you are looking to get a green card or if you're looking to become naturalized, we may not be able to help you. And this is because of some restrictions from our funders, but there are a bunch of types of cases that we can do. So we can do immigration cases around the Violence Against Women Act. We can help with U visas, which are visas given to individuals who are victims of crime in the United States. And we do T visas, which are for survivors of human trafficking. Similarly, we can also help with asylum cases. Asylum has been in the news a lot because of all of the migrants that have been arriving in Chicago. Most of them are seeking asylum, and that is something that we can assist with. There are a few other immigration cases that we can help with, but they're so nuanced and there's so many of them that we don't list them all here. So if you are looking for immigration help, give us a call. If it's something that we can do, we'll help you out. If it's not something that we can assist with, we'll tell you who can. We also have a migrant workers team, which actually goes out into the agricultural and landscape areas throughout the whole state of Illinois and provides legal services and advice for the migrant agricultural workers. So this is really cool because in the morning, our team will actually get up and get into a car and drive downstate, go out into the cornfields, the apple orchards, whatever they're coming into that day, and meet with the workers at their job and make sure, hey, these are your rights. Have you been told what your rights are? Are your rights being protected? And if they're not, we can help them get that sorted. And then the last area that this team works in is our Survivors of Trafficking project. And this team works to provide legal and advocacy services for survivors of human trafficking throughout the state of Illinois. And this is either sex or labor trafficking. So if you or anyone you know has survived human trafficking, that is something that we can assist you with. Next, we have our consumer team. This is a big one because we want to help you keep your money. So if you've got debt or money issues, this may be the area for you. So the types of cases that our consumer team works with, we do utility cases, and that means electricity, gas, water. If I moved into an apartment and I call ComEd and I say, hey, ComEd, turn on my electricity. If they say to me, hey, you've got 6 other electric bills in your name, but I know that I don't, that means someone took out an electric bill with my social security number. That's an issue. And that's the type of case that we can assist with. We do wage garnishments. So there's a lot of laws around how your wages are garnished from a court order. So if a court says, hey, you owe this much in child support, we're taking it out of your paycheck. If it's not done properly, that is something we can help out with. And then we also do bankruptcy. If you want to file or need to file, we can assist. Car title issues, payday loan issues, any unfair debt collection or general consumer fraud. And if you have student loan issues, we can help. Student loans have been in the news a lot lately. We don't do the thing where we can get your student loans forgiven. But let's say that you got one of those student loans that the federal government said, hey, these shouldn't have been given out and you don't have to pay them back. We can help get that sorted. And then last but not least, our consumer team works with IRS issues. So if you've gotten a letter from the IRS saying, hey, you filed your taxes wrong, you did a 1099, but you should have been a W-4 employee. Or, hey, someone already filed taxes with your social security number. That is something that we can help you work through. So that's our consumer team. Our public benefits team, we want you to get and keep your public benefits. They are super helpful and we want you to get them. And that includes SNAP, so that's food stamps, Medicaid and Medicare, which is your medical card, cash benefits like TANF and AABD, SSI, Social Security. If you have been denied any of those, or if you were overpaid or terminated from any of those programs, or if you had any other problems, that's something we could probably help you with. So again, denials, overpayments, and terminations for pretty much any public benefit. And we do veterans benefits cases. So if you are a US veteran and you have been denied your benefits, that is something that our team can explore, including discharge upgrades. So if you're a veteran who was discharged dishonorably, but it should have been a general discharge, we can help you explore those options. Criminal records relief. This is the team that I used to work on. I did criminal records cases for many years, so this one is near and dear to my heart. We want to help people clear up their records in Cook County. So if you've ever been arrested or charged with a crime in Cook County, you have a criminal record, and we can help you clear that record up. We do expungement, which is effectively erasing your record, and that's for non-convictions and juvenile records. We do sealing, which is locking your record away from public view so people can't see it, and that's for convictions. And then if you need more relief, like if you're trying to work at a certain job that requires a waiver from the court, we do those professional licensure waivers and certificates. Excuse me one second, folks. Where's my mute? Got it. And then our last practice group is called our long-term care team. And this team works to protect residents of long-term care facilities. They actually go into these long-term care facilities in suburban Cook County and in Lake County to investigate complaints and provide information to the resident. And the areas that we cover are your quality of care, residents' rights, Medicaid, Medicare benefits, guardianship, improper transfer or discharge, involuntary discharge. And we actually do involuntary discharge cases in Chicago. So this is a situation in which you can actually call our hotline, and the number is in the PowerPoint. So when this is recorded and posted, you'll be able to see that number. You can call the hotline and say, hey, my cousin lives in this facility and I think he's being mistreated. Can you check on him when you go to this facility? We'll mark it down, and when we go to that facility, we'll make sure to meet with that person and find out what is going on. So those are our practice groups and like the main areas that we handle. But there are some legal issues that we cover and can work on that don't really make sense to explain with the practice groups. So I think this one is going to be really interesting to you guys. Randy and I have talked about this one a lot. This is called Advanced Directives and Property Transfers. We call it our ADAPT program. And these are legal documents that help you control your property and your decisions for your future. So first and foremost, we do something called a TODI. This is a transfer on death instrument. So if you own your home, if you don't have a will or a trust or something protecting your home, when you pass away, your house goes through a process called probate. And that's when the courts decide who gets your house, who gets your property, and how it gets divvied up. A TODI is a 2-page document that we can create and fill out for you that lets you choose who gets your home after you pass away. So let's say I own my home, and Randy, guess what? I'm going to leave you my home when I pass away. I can go to Legal Aid Chicago. They will create this TODI, and all I have to do is file it with the clerk's office. Once it's stamped, it is valid. So if I walk into the clerk's office on North LaSalle Street, I get that stamped. If I walk out and I get hit by a city bus and I pass away, Randy can go accept my house the next day. He just files one piece of paper that says, yes, I will take Barbara's house. He does not have to go through probate. He does not have to wait for the courts to say that it's okay for him to take my house. So this document, we'll do it for free. It does cost $59 to file it with the court, but it protects what should be your biggest asset. If you own a home, chances are that's the most expensive thing that you have. you want to protect it. Make sure it stays with someone that you care about. So definitely get a toady if you own your home. We also do living wills. These are not wills that leave your property to people, but these are documents that say what you want to happen to you medically in case you cannot tell the doctor. And you can put things in there like, I don't want to be kept alive by artificial means for more than X amount of time. Or I want a priest to come and say the Lord's Prayer over me before I pass away. It's your end of life medical wishes for when you cannot say what those are. And last but certainly not least, we do powers of attorney. These are documents that let you appoint someone. You get to choose the person that you trust to make financial or healthcare decisions when you cannot. So let's say I file my toady downtown. I walk out and I get hit by that city bus. I don't die though, but I do go into a coma. My mortgage still has to get paid. My cats have to get fed and all of these things. My bills, I've got so many bills, you guys. They all have to get paid, but I'm the only person on my accounts. So if I appoint Randy my power of attorney, Randy then has the ability to get the money from my bank account to pay my mortgage, to buy cat food, to pay my cell phone bill, to do all of those things that I cannot because I am in a coma. Additionally, the healthcare power of attorney lets someone tell the doctor what should happen. So if I haven't talked to anyone except Randy about what I want to happen, Randy, I don't want to be kept alive on artificial means. I don't want anyone to say a prayer over me, but I want these things to happen. Randy gets to tell the doctor that those things happen, and he'll have a document saying that he's the person I chose to trust. Congrats, Randy. You have lots of new responsibilities. All right. The next program we have is our legal assistance for survivors of sexual assault. And we do holistic legal services for people who have survived sexual assault. We do focus on school aged children in this. So we focus on elementary, middle, and high school students for this. But of course, if you are an adult and you are a survivor of sexual assault, this is something that we can explore for you. And then we have what we call our HIV legal project. And that project serves clients who are impacted by or living with HIV or AIDS. And your legal problem does not have to be related to your status as having HIV. So it's all of the legal issues that we've already talked about. We will do anything that we already do here, but we also in this project do housing navigation, HIV-related discrimination. So remember, we do housing discrimination, employment discrimination, sex discrimination at school, and HIV-related discrimination, and unlawful disclosure of HIV status. That's private information that is protected by law. So if someone shares that, that's something that we can help you pursue. Okay, so I've talked a lot about the work that we do. What do we not do? There are a few things that we do not do. As I mentioned earlier, we cannot and do not do criminal defense cases. Please call the public defender's office, and if they cannot assist you, they will direct you to someone who can. But then we also don't do personal injury cases, medical malpractice, workers' comp, traffic cases, probate, so full wills and full estates. We don't do trusts, that kind of thing. And we also don't do private pension cases. So if you're in a really good place and you just need to get a whole probate case set up, you need to get your trust and will done, we can help you with the toady and the power of attorney, but we can't do the rest of it. You can call Carpels, and Carpels is an attorney advice and referral service, and they can direct you to someone who can help. So if you need to write that number down, that number is 312-738-9200. And again, it will be in the recording. Okay, so we do all that work, but what does that mean? How do we actually help you? If we are able to take your case, we will advocate and negotiate for you every step of the way, including representing you in court or whatever other proceeding needs to happen. So if you're our client, we will help you with that legal issue from beginning to end. If we are unable to take your case, we will still give you some advice and a referral to someone who might be able to help you. So if you call us and you say, you know what, I have a public benefits issue, but we talk it through and we figure out it's not really a public benefits issue, we'll give you advice on how to handle it and tell you who to call that may be able to take your case. How do we decide if we can take your case? Who we can help actually depends on several different things, including where you live, what your income is, your citizenship status, and then the individual program requirements. You do have to be a Cook County resident to become a client. There are 3 exceptions to that. So if you live in DuPage County, we can still help you if you are a US veteran or a survivor of trafficking or a migrant worker. You can live anywhere in Illinois and we can accept your case if you're a migrant worker, a veteran, or a survivor of trafficking. Otherwise, you do have to live in Cook County. Your income, this is a big one. Since we're a nonprofit, we're funded by grants, and grants are money from other organizations or the government, and they come with all sorts of restrictions. So all of these rules are set by our grant funders. Generally speaking, the general income limit for a client is 150% of the federal poverty line or lower. The federal poverty line is a number that government economists come up with every year to say if you make this much money or less, you are living, quote, in poverty. So right now, we are waiting on the 2024 numbers to come out, but for 2023, it was $45,000 for a family of 4. There are higher income limits for certain groups and certain legal issues. Those change kind of month to month. But currently, there is no income limit for people who are 60 or over. If you're a survivor of domestic abuse or sexual violence and your legal case is related to that status, or if you're caring for a child that is not biologically your own. So if my brother went to prison and I started raising my niece, I would qualify regardless of my income. So we'll ask you about how much money you make and how much income you have, but we're also going to ask you about other things that you own that may be potentially valuable, like houses and cars and your bank accounts and that sort of thing. And in these situations, the worst thing we can say to you is, hey, you make too much money, we'll give you someone else to call. So if you're not sure if you fit within these guidelines, just give us a call. Our intake team will take you through all of the questions to figure out if you qualify. Citizenship status is a big one. And again, these are restrictions set by our funders. And what I'm about to say does not represent my personal values or the values of our organization. It doesn't say anything other than these are the rules that our funders give us. In order to qualify for our services, you do have to be either a US resident, a US citizen, a permanent resident, a survivor of violence or human trafficking, an asylee or refugee, and there are about 30 some odd other exceptions that, again, our intake team will figure out if you qualify. We will not report your status to law enforcement or ICE or anyone else. We are just required to ensure that people fall within these groups. So again, if you call and we find out that you don't fit into one of those exceptions, we'll give you some advice and a phone number to someone who might be able to help you. And we will not report you to anyone. And then last but not least, as I mentioned, every program we have has its own requirements about your legal case and the situation. So the intake team will take you through those questions to figure out if you qualify. And that process starts by going through an actual intake. This is just the process to figure out if you meet all of those requirements that I just talked about and to find out more about you and your legal problem. So you can reach us in 2 main ways. You can call us for an intake, and our phone number is 312-341-1070. So the phone lines open at 8 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, unless it's a federal holiday when we're closed. Again, that number is 312-341-1070. And what happens is there's a phone tree. So it'll be a recording and say, if you live in Chicago, press this number. If you're 60 or over, press this number. If you're calling about housing, press this. If you're calling about consumer, press this. And you just have to listen and push the buttons to get to the right place. Then it will put you in what we call our phone queue. So you're just like getting in line for your turn to talk to somebody. You can either wait on hold or get a call back when it's your turn in line. So we definitely recommend that you call as early in the day as possible. Again, the phones turn on at 8 o'clock in the morning. You should really be calling at 8 o'clock or 8:01. Make sure you get in that line. But let's say you're like me and you're at work at 8 o'clock in the morning, you can't get on the phone right then. You can go to our website, legalaidchicago.org, to actually schedule a time for someone on our intake team to call you. So if I know I'm not going to be able to make that call for 3 weeks because I am in meetings every day from 8 to 12, I can go onto the website. I could do it at midnight if I wanted to and say, hey, give me a call at 1 o'clock next Friday, and I'll get that call. And once you get through that queue and you get to talk to someone in our intake team, they will do the first interview. And it's going to be questions about who you are, where you live, how much money you make, and just some general stuff about your legal problem. Not everyone makes it past this first step, but if we find out that you live in DuPage County and you're not a veteran or a migrant worker or a survivor of trafficking, you're not going to qualify to be a client. But we will still give you that advice and a referral to someone who can help. But let's say you meet all of the requirements. Your legal issue is one that we help with. Your income fits our guidelines, and we have openings in that practice area where we need to help you. Then you'll be moved on to a second interview with someone from the legal team who would be handling your case. And in that second interview, which can happen a few days to a few weeks after the first interview, you'll talk to the attorney or paralegal and go into details about your legal problem. So that's where we find out what's really going on. After that, your information is taken back to a meeting here at Legal Aid Chicago. You're not a part of this. It's the attorneys and the paralegals who do these interviews actually get together and say, hey, I talked to Randy. This is his legal problem. This is what's going on. Here's how I think we can help. And we determine whether or not we can take your case. Again, you don't take part in that. It's in our internal decision meeting. And then we make the decision and we will notify you. If at any point through that process we realize that we cannot take your case, we will still give you that advice and a referral to someone who might be able to help you. But hopefully we can take your case. Language will never be a barrier for getting help from us. So if you are more comfortable speaking in Spanish, we have Spanish interpreters on staff. If you are hard of hearing or hearing impaired, we can get an interpreter to do a video call with you and work with American Sign Language. If you speak any other language, we work with an interpretation service and we will get that taken care of. So when you go through the intake process, just let us know what language you're most comfortable communicating in and we'll set up an interpreter. And everything that's discussed during intake is confidential, even if there's an interpreter there. So, reminder, you can call us for that intake, schedule one on our website, or the third way to get help from us is by visiting one of our community clinics. And Randy, I believe I have sent him flyers with this information, but I will make sure to do that one more time. He's given me the thumbs up. He's got them. So if you wanted to, Randy could get you a copy of this flyer. What is a clinic? What is a help desk? Let's talk about it. These are the ways that you can come see us out in the community. So for our help desks, we have our bankruptcy help desk. It's currently virtual. It used to be in person, but after COVID, it went online. It's going to stay online. So if you are filing bankruptcy and you want to do it yourself, you don't want to hire a lawyer, you want to take ownership of the process, but you have questions about the paperwork or the process, we can help you out. You'll just give us a call to make an appointment and you'll get a virtual appointment with one of our help desk attorneys who will talk you through the process. If you live in the south suburbs and you have an eviction case in Markham, we have a help desk open for walk-ins on Thursdays where we can give you advice and help you out with your eviction case. And then in Chicago, we have a juvenile expungement help desk. So I talked about criminal records relief, how we can do expungement and sealing. But if you only have juvenile cases or if you just want to get that part taken care of, you can just walk into our help desk, which is in the juvenile courthouse. And it's open Monday through Thursday from 9 to 4. Walk-ins only. You don't need an appointment. You just go in and you say, hey, I've had a juvenile case and I want it expunged. They'll be able to pull up your records and see what we can do to help you out. So those are the help desk. The clinics are even cooler, in my humble opinion. The legal clinics are things that we operate where Legal Aid Chicago actually goes to a host site out in the community. These are located throughout Chicago, and you can visit any one of our walk-in clinics regardless of where you live. So we have one in Austin. Let's say you live in Garfield Park, but Austin's going to be the one that works best for your schedule. You can go to the one in Austin. We have a clinic once a month at each site. So we have 4 walk-in sites and we have 1 virtual site. And you can talk to a lawyer for free about any civil legal issue. It does not have to be one that we cover. So I mentioned earlier, we don't do general divorce. But if you want to find out how to get a divorce or what you should do, you can go to one of our clinics and get advice on how to proceed. So the 4 clinics that we have that you can walk into, we do not take appointments, it's walk-in only. They are in North Lawndale, Woodlawn, Humboldt/Wicker Park, and Austin. They each happen once a month at each site, and they are from either 4 to 6 or 4:30 to 6:30, and the doors open 30 minutes before they start. So let's say you're going to the North Lawndale clinic, that's on the second Tuesday of the month. You get there at 5:59, that's fine. The clinic doesn't end at 6. That's when the doors close for taking on new clients that night. We will stay there until everyone who came in before 6 o'clock is helped. The last clinic I went to, I think I was there until about 8:45 because we wanted to make sure that everyone got assistance. So as I mentioned, Randy has a flyer with all of this information, and it will be in the recording. So you can definitely check this out. We also have the information about this on our website, legalaidchicago.org. But let's say you can't get to one of those walk-in clinics. Either you don't have transportation or they don't work for your schedule. We do have a virtual clinic. So this is online, hosted via Zoom, just like we're doing right now. And it's on the first Tuesday of every month. This one you do need an appointment for. So you would just give us a call to schedule that appointment and we'll get you in. We'll send you the link to Zoom. So to wrap it all up, just as a reminder, you can get help from us in one of 3 ways. You can call us for an intake. You can schedule for us to call you by visiting our website, or you can visit one of our clinics or help desks. All of our services are free and we really want to help people out. So give us a call. And now is the time where I will answer any questions that any of you may have.
Then I'll go ahead and wrap us up here. And first of all, say thank you again to Barbara and the whole Legal Aid Chicago team for the presentation. It's really fantastic. Obviously, it's clear that there's a lot of services y'all offer that are really valuable. Again, this webinar is going to be posted on our website, which is rebuildingtogether-chi.com. And you're going to go over to the events tab on there and then scroll down to webinars, and that's where it'll be posted. If you have any trouble for any reason finding that recording, just go ahead and give our office a call and ask for Randy. I'll give you our phone number really quick, which is 312-201-1188. Again, that's 312-201-1188. And like Barbara said, she gave me a bunch of flyers, flyers on the advanced directives, on the clinics, on Legal Aid Chicago in general. So if you want me to send you by email or mail any of those flyers, I'm happy to do that as well. Again, just give me a call. But otherwise, I think that will wrap up our webinar for today. Thank you again to everyone for joining us. This was really great. I hope you learned something valuable. And don't be shy about calling Legal Aid Chicago's helpline as well. Anything else for you, Barbara?
Just wanted to say thank you all so much for attending. Definitely share our information. It's not just for you guys on this call. If you know anyone who could benefit from our services, feel free to share this information. And thank you for your patience as I had some technical difficulties at the beginning. I appreciate you all.
Alrighty. Well, everybody have a nice day and please stay warm, stay bundled up. And we'll get information out soon about our next webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You too. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.